I put together a crazy parlay with massive odds of 48 from 4 events. Let's break it down. First parlay, first event, Arsenal versus Fulham, and here I found a very interesting, because at first glance it looked like Arsenal should comfortably take this match thanks to their class and home advantage. But if we dig deeper, the picture is not that straightforward at all. And most importantly, it's not about a high-scoring game. I'll start with Arsenal, because the key story here is not just form, but their condition at the end of the season. They're not just tired, they are playing on the edge, squeezing out results, and that heavily affects their start. Before, this was a team that could dominate, score 2 or 3, and comfortably control the game. But now it's ultra-pragmatic football, where the result matters more than the show. And the numbers back it out. Recently they create fewer chances than many mid-table teams, which is not the level of a title contender, but that's the reality right now. Plus, you can't ignore the Champions League, where they just played a very tough game against Athletic. And even with a draw, the energy cost is massive. In these conditions, Arsenal at home play very carefully, avoid risks, slow the tempo. And you can clearly see it in recent matches, where most games end with 1 or 2 goals at most. Buddy, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post match analysis every day and always try to keep my subscribers in profit. I am also always open to fair criticism and your well-argued picks in the comments. I read everything. Guys, here's my Telegram and my stats. I work as transparently and honestly as possible. I even pay taxes as an individual entrepreneur. I am one of the few in this space who actually works openly and fairly. The link is in the description below. Now let's move to Fulham, because there are nuances here that fit perfectly into this scenario. Yes, the team is inconsistent, they can either collapse or deliver a strong performance. But there is one very important detail. They know how to adapt to opponents and don't rush forward blind. Plus, they had a full week to prepare, unlike Arsenal, and that can play a role in terms of fitness and discipline. But the most important factor is their away form, where against tough teams they struggle a lot. They can compete, they can play carefully, but in attack there is very little creativity, and against Arsenal's organized defense it will be extremely difficult for them to create chances. So if we put everything together, this scenario is quite clear. Arsenal will control the game, but without unnecessary risks. Fulham will stay compact and wait for rare opportunities, and in the end we get a tight, close match where every goal comes with difficulty. This is not about an open game. It's about control, discipline, and minimal mistakes. So my main pick here, under 3 goals in the parlay, because 3 goals is already the upper limit here, while the base scenario is 1-0 or 2-0. And for the wild parlay, Arsenal win plus under 3.5 at 2.1. First parlay and second event, Bayern versus Heidenheim, and here I found it very interesting, because after the crazy thriller with PSG, it may seem like Bayern will slow things down and play more calmly, but if we dig deeper, these are exactly the games where they explode and score early, especially in the first half. I'll start with Bayern, because right now this is a team that simply doesn't know how to play boring football. They can rotate, they can use a mixed lineup, but the style doesn't change. Even against Mainz, where they were 0-3 down, they didn't just come back. They did it aggressively with pressure and constant attacks. And that's not random. It's a system under company. Plus, the psychological factor after losing to PSG is huge. When you lose a 4-5 game full of emotion, you don't come out next time playing safe. You come out angry, motivated, and ready to dominate. And Heidenheim is exactly the type of opponent for that. They regularly concede first, especially away and often in the first half. Now Heidenheim, yes, they fight, they have character, they can even score against top teams. But the key issue is that they almost always start games defensively, sitting deep and giving up initiative. Against Bayern, this turns into constant pressure from the first minutes. And the stats confirm it. In most away games, they fall behind before halftime. Add to that the fact Bayern often decide games all at home, and the scenario becomes very clear. Bayern press from the start, Heidenheim sit back, can handle the tempo, and the goal comes out. After that, either a second goal follows or the game opens even more. My main pick, Bayern over 1 goal in the first half in the parlay. And for the wild parlay, Bayern over 2 goals in the first half at 3.9. Second parlay, first event, Osasuna versus Barcelona, and here I found a very interesting, because at first glance it looks like Barcelona should come and comfortably take 3 points. But if we dig deeper, this is exactly the kind of away game that turns into an open battle with goals on both sides. I'll start with Osasuna because many underestimate them at home. El Sadari's fortress, where even top teams struggle. 10 unbeaten home game, it's not random. It's a system built on aggression and pressure. Real Madrid struggled here, Barcelona even lost 2-4 last season. Osasuna don't sit back at home. They attack, create chances and score regularly, but their defense is far from perfect, which is key for this scenario. Now Barcelona. Everything is clear here. The title is almost secured, but Flick keeps them focused. Even with rotations, they continue playing attacking football. The nuance is their defense. Away from home, they can sit regular. Their style is open, they press, control and attack, but that gives opponents chances. And against Osasuna, that's crucial. So putting it all together, Osasuna at home will attack and score. Barcelona will also score but allow chances. This leads to a clear scenario. Open game, chances on both sides and high tempo. So my main pick here, over 2.5 goals in the parlay. And for the wild parlay, 1-2 plus BTTS at 2.2. Second parlay and second event. PSG versus Lorient, and here I found a very interesting because at first glance it seems PSG might slow down after the intense game with Bayern, but if we dig deeper, this is exactly the kind of match where PSG can win comfortably with goals, even with rotation, without necessarily keeping a clean sheet. I'll start with PSG because this is a team with huge depth, proven many times this season. Even with heavy rotation, they don't lose quality. That's a key because many think PSG get weaker without starters, but their squad depth keeps the level high. Plus motivation matters. The title isn't secured yet and they will not let it slip. So even if the tempo isn't at its maximum, control and pressure remain, especially at home where they often decide games early. Now Lorient, unstable especially away, but they can score even against stronger teams. Head-to-head also shows they often find a goal against PSG, and PSG's defensive absences and fatigue from Champions League and Lorient could get their chance. So putting it all together, PSG control the game, create and score, while Lorient find at least one moment, especially later in the match. For me the scenario is clear. PSG win in a game with goals. My main pick, PSG win plus over 1.5 goals in the parlay. And for the wild parlay, 1-2 plus BTTS yes at 2.2.